the arrangements for this weekend's match when Orlando Pirates will be taking on Mamelodi Sundowns at FNB Stadium on Sunday, the 16th of March, 2025. The two gentlemen will Mr. Hobler will take us through the stadium readiness, stadium preparedness for the upcoming match, and Mr. Fika will also just comment and elaborate further on traffic management, including road closures and the like. So, welcome, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bertie, if we can perhaps start with you, if you can just give us a summary of what the preparations are like so far, what to expect, and what should the public should be made aware of going into this match on Sunday.
Thank you, Tanley. Good morning, members of the media, and thanks again for the opportunity to get some information across to the broader public and the spectators. This morning, I really want to focus on the ticket availability and ticket distribution. As you are aware, we implemented a new system that we announced about 2 to 3 weeks ago. We had the opportunity to test the system with two non-capacity events at FNB Stadium. I said from the start there's going to be teething problems, but we're going to work through that. And I don't want to in any way try and compare a fixture with 15,000 people to what we expect on Sunday, but we learned some valuable lessons and made some changes. Now, first of all, if we can deal with where you can buy tickets, where's tickets available? First of all, the one we want people to use is the digital platform, and specifically that of the home club. If you're a Pirates supporter, you go onto the Pirates website. It really is as easy if you click on the link. 4 steps, you click through it, and then you receive your tickets via the digital platform. That is shown at the gate, and it is scanned. What creates confusion at the moment, I see, with a lot of spectators is you receive a first ticket without a barcode or a blurred barcode. And we indicated the reason for that is to enhance the security. And we've received a lot of inquiries on event day. I haven't received my tickets, and my ticket is not available. You need to go back to that link, and you click on that link, and 8 hours before kickoff, your tickets will be there with the barcode. And it's been tested on both games. It's working. So there's nothing wrong with the system. We just need to educate, and we need to get used to the new system. The next ticketing platform where you can purchase your tickets is the thermal tickets at the Usafe, Shoprite, Checkers outlets. So there you purchase a physical thermal ticket, in my words. This ticket has got security features that we change from event to event. So it's available. Go and purchase it, and you arrive at the venue, and you show your ticket scanned, and you enter. The third option is, you remember we announced on mobile the WhatsApp platform. Now, with the first event, we saw that the WhatsApp platform creates a chat. People communicate. So you type in tickets, and you're prompted to buy your tickets. But there's people inquiring on this platform for future matches. So we decided to change the WhatsApp platform to a mobile platform. So similar to the link on the website, you click on a link, it prompts you to purchase your tickets. You pay on your phone, and the blurred barcoded ticket will appear on your mobile. Now, we've decided last night, people will get a reminder now, once you purchased on this way. via WhatsApp or via SMS to again click on the link to get your tickets with the barcode 8 hours before. Because we saw that many people expected that ticket after you purchase it to appear on your phone automatically. That will not happen. You need to go back to the link, same link. You just link 8 hours before the time and it appears on your phone. So that is the 3 ticketing purchase options. I still believe, and I firmly believe, it enhances the process, it enhances the spectator experience, and it makes purchasing tickets much easier. Interesting, over the last 2 matches, and this morning I had a discussion with the chairman of the PSL. We found in the last 2 fixtures no fake tickets. Is that a big win? Yes, but we must remember that the syndicates and the people out there involved in fraudulent activities, they also haven't had the time. They also had only 2 weeks to make their plan. So we are aware of that. What is a concern to us is last night 4 people arrested selling complimentary tickets. And what's interesting, they sold the complimentary tickets for 100 rand, while you can walk 100 meters further and purchase a ticket at the on-site sales for 60 rand. Furthermore, you can stand at the stadium and you can buy it on your cell phone. So the patrons and the spectators and the fans should assist us in that process as well. Complimentary tickets is there for the club, for their sponsors, and its contractual obligations. It should not create chaos and complications at the entry points. So from a ticketing perspective, that is what from stadium side and from Open Tickets as our ticketing partner, we are requesting the people to adhere to, and the patrons. As far as the event readiness is concerned, it's an honor to host in any event in my time, the first Pirates Sundown fixture at FNB. We're looking forward to that. In the last couple of years, we've seen the Orlando capacity not enough for this fixture. And with the title race still open, we're looking forward to a full house on Sunday. And from a venue perspective, we are ready for the event. Tanya, I think I'll stop there and maybe answer specific questions later on.
Thank you, Bertie. Mr. Fihla, traffic management.
No, thank you so much, Thandi, and let me take the opportunity to greet our colleagues from the media and to you too, Bertie. When it comes to traffic management, as Bertie alluded to that, it is a different venue than previously before. Fortunately, we've had ample events that have been taking place at the FNB, so it's nothing new. With the traffic management system, there's a few tweaks that we have added on, seeing from the previous game that was hosted at the stadium. But when it comes to roads that will be affected, we know road closures will be implemented at 11 in the morning, and specifically they'll be on Soweto Highway, that's between the N1 Bridge and Main Street, and also on Crownwood Road on Boysens Reserve Road, between Crownwood Road and League Avenue and Nasrec Road as well. And those routes then will be used specifically for our media colleagues. It's a thing that we've put in place. We know that our colleagues have had challenges getting to the stadium at particular points. So our colleagues can use the N1 Soweto Highway and turn right into Golden Highway and Stadium Avenue into the stadium, and from Crownwood Road use Boysens Reserve Road and into the stadium precinct. The few tweaks that we've added is road closures after the game. It is important that traffic is free-flowing after the game. We know that there's a lot of people who will be leaving the stadium precinct at that time. So the road closures will be implemented on Rancho Road. That's between the N1 South and Aerodrome Road, and it'll make efficient traffic flow for those leaving the stadium at that time. And also on the N17, that's between the N1 and the Nasrec Road traffic circle. And other implementations that have been put in is that we're working closely with taxi associations to ensure that taxis are stacked up after the game so that it makes it easy for our spectators who use those services to leave the game as quick as possible, because we've seen in previous events is that the taxi operators would like to force themselves inside the stadium precinct right when the game ends, and that causes a lot of congestion. So 30 minutes before the game ends, they'll be stacking up on Booysens Reserve Road, on Soweto Highway on the northern side of the stadium for people going into the Johannesburg CBD and other areas, and also on Rancho Road, right next to the Nasrec Memorial Cemetery. Our officers will then be on duty from 11 o'clock in the morning to ensure that there's free flow of traffic and to ensure that we do enforce traffic laws. One of the biggest challenges that we do have, and especially when it comes to traffic management before the game, is illegal car guards, illegal parking as well. So we are urging our spectators to not be directed by illegal car guards, because for one, they'll make you park in a place where you're not meant to park, and you'll find your vehicle being impounded. And another thing, if you park in illegal places, we've seen in the previous event when people's vehicles have been vandalized. So it is essential that you do use the parking spaces that have been allocated around the stadium precinct. Excuse me, we've got the kidneys on the northern side of the stadium and Shareworld as well. People can use that. We've got the Eastern Overflow and the Nasrec Nasrec Expo parking places where our spectators can use that as well. But what's important, and especially for the egress when people are leaving, Nasrec Road will then be converted for a contraflow traffic management system. So before the game, it will be converted into 3 lanes inside the stadium. From the northern side of the stadium, it will be from the N17 traffic circle to Sharp 17 Road. And from the southern side of the stadium, it'll be from Adcock Ingram Road to Recreation Road. And the 3 lanes will be going into the stadium before the game. We'll have an emergency lane for any vehicles trying to maneuver themselves out, especially for drop-off and pickups as well. And after the game, then Nasrec Road will be completely converted into 4 lanes. That's towards the M1 on the southern side of the stadium, and of course towards the N17 traffic circle on the northern side of the stadium. Thank you, Tony.
And if I can just, on the transport options, please remember that Rea Vaya will be functional and that you can make use of Rea Vaya. All the information on departure times and all the traffic information with maps, diagrams, and layouts is available on the club website and on the stadium management website. And it will also be distributed via or available on social media via social media content planes. And then if I can highlight this, we're going to sit on Monday after this event and we're going to beat the dead horse again if we don't have cooperation. You cannot fill the stadium and the traffic will not be free-flowing if there's 40,000 vehicles arriving at an hour before kickoff. We can deploy 200 more JMPD officers, 400 more traffic marshals. If everybody arrives at the same time in the precinct, we will not be able to have free-flowing traffic. So it's a plea again to the public and the spectators to arrive early.
Thank you, Bertie. Maybe just from the club side, in terms of our preparedness for the match, we are all ready to host a successful event. But Bertie, just to your point, with regards to Rea Vaya, there will be T1 route along the phase 1 and phase B1. Trip intervals will be increased to 5 minutes from 11 to 15:30. Ride tickets will be sold at Soccer City Rea Vaya station. No smart cards are allowed or can be loaded at the Soccer City station. The last bus expected to leave on match day will be at 7 p.m. And also, just further to the traffic issues, we've experienced in the past. We've experienced a lot of challenges with regards to traffic management, to traffic on the day. And we think the measures that we're taking, or rather that we applied for the previous study, were quite successful. So Because of that, we'll be having the park and ride again, which alleviates traffic to a great extent. And we'd like to just encourage the members of the media to ensure that for those of you that can or are interested in taking that option, please do. It will make for a very easy and smooth access into the stadium. In terms of our key messaging, again, we're advising people, we are pleading with our patrons to ensure that you come to the stadium as early as you possibly can. Gates will be open from 11:30. There will be entertainment galore. We'll be activating with all of our partners, Adidas, Vodacom, Oppo, Aquele, Supersport Bet, Merit, Bonvoy. All of our partners will be on hand with giveaways, with prizes, with entertainment for the family, for the kids, for everyone basically who wants to come through to the stadium. So we are again encouraging people to come through as early as you possibly can. You will not be bored. And again, this will assist in avoiding traffic congestion. We're also encouraging people to please buy your tickets while you still can. Tickets are selling quite fast. Follow as per the open ticket buying system on the mobile app via the websites. It's on the Orlando Pirates website. It's also on the SMSA website. Please make sure that you buy your ticket. You come with the ticket in hand, and do not be alarmed. Like Bertie said, if you don't see a barcode, it will be visually clear, or it will be less blurry closer to the event, closer to I think we had said 5 hours before
8 hours
kickoff, 8
for
hours
this win.
before kickoff for this game. So it's an important safety feature. Do not buy tickets from people you don't know. Do not buy tickets from around the corner. Those are obviously fake tickets, and we don't want our patrons having a negative stadium experience. Please make sure that you have a valid ticket in hand. All the tickets will be scanned. If there's multiple scans on the tickets, the system will be able to pick that up. So ensure that when the barcode is clear, you don't show it to anyone. You don't share it with any of your friends. You use it specifically to come into the stadium. Thank you. I will now open for questions from the floor. If there are any questions for the panel, yes, Temba.
Bertie, can you please assist with the breakdown and the focus of the ticket sales as to where we are now and where you are looking at?
This morning, just when I walked in here, the sales were on 42,000 rounded numbers. So yeah, big spike yesterday. So we still hope for a sold out event. I believe we will have. So people should please buy tickets early. I think we'll be sold out by Saturday. There's an extra day that we don't account for Saturday now. So please ensure that you buy your tickets timelessly.
But just still on the tickets, spoke earlier on, of course, the issue around the VIP tickets. Some people say that they can access them on the open ticket website. How does one go about that?
Thank you for that question, and thank you for alerting me this morning to this. The VIP tickets, hospitality tickets, are not on sale on open tickets. It's sold via the sale website. But after our discussion, I've requested the ticketing agent to include a link on the open tickets website that would you wish to buy VIP tickets, that will take you directly to that. So thank you for alerting me to that. But yeah, it's on the sale website.
Hi, Bertie. I'm KG from Impala Radio. Just to ask, I think that from what we've been hearing from our listeners and trying to track, can maybe perhaps give an idea why the ticket prices are also quite a bit more as compared to all the other normal games that we normally have?
Yes, the ticket prices, as you know, for the derby is also increased, but this is not a derby prices. And the sole reason for that is the cost involved in hosting an event of this nature and magnitude. There's a massive increase in the comparing a full capacity event to a 50,000 or 40,000 attendance. And that is straight through from JMPD cost, security cost, medical, everything. So you won't be able to host an event that's commercially viable on the 60 rand ticket price.
Kamagale Mogale from PowerFM. I just want to ask, what influenced the decision for a game to be moved from the Saturday to the Sunday?
That is not, and I think I should pass this to the club. It's not a stadium decision. We were requested on availability for the 15th or the 16th. Both dates were available, and we got the confirmation from the club that the fixture is on the 16th.
Next question.
Good morning, Patrick. Good to see you. When you speak about the tickets now being clear 8 hours before, what exactly does that elevate? What exactly does it better compared to the previous system, if any?
Again, a good question. It will never eliminate the fraudulent activity, but we can play with the barcode and change it 8 hours before the kickoff. You will still be able to take a screenshot and send it to your friend, but screenshots of tickets will not be allowed past the access point. And maybe that affords me the opportunity. For the first time as well, we're going to have a double scanning. It's good you asked the question. Previously, we had a visual check where the ticket was checked and then you enter to the scanning point. So there's a double scanning in place on Saturday. Before you get into the exclusion zone, there will also already be a check on your ticket. And that is part of the reason for that. It's just measures to eliminate the amount of fraudulent tickets we had going around. And I don't ever want to go back to the previous derby, and I don't want to even recite the numbers again. We all know we were over capacity, and that was due to the amount of fraudulent tickets going around.
Okay, we'll take the final 3 questions.
Patrick, from your side, I think that you've been hosting such big games for quite a number of time. Are you seeing more compliance and more understanding from all the fans that are coming to the stadium and how things are supposed to be done? And are the lessons that you are learning from all these games, have they been implemented to see the improvement of how things are getting into the stadium and out as well? Has that been increasing?
Yes, I firmly believe there's the events became more family friendly. You see much more families at all the events. What concerns me is that the amount of criminal activity outside the stadium, fraudulent tickets, that also increased in intensity and the quality, if I can put it that way. So there's a huge focus on us to ensure that we deal with that measures outside of the venue and not to allow those elements to get inside the venue. And that is why there's so much focus on the scanning of the tickets and the quality of the ticket control. To give you an example, there were 800 family zone tickets available for this fixture. It was the first ticket class that was sold out within 2 days. So that is something we'll have a look at with the club and maybe increase that family zone to a bigger number. Another thing that we need to implement in the new season is to test is an actual ticket per seat and not an unreserved seat. There's a huge cry out from fans and spectators for that. But we can't do that for every single ticket. So that's, again, a phased approach. The last one I want to address is the need for Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi accessibility at scanning points, at selling points, at merchant points. And we really very, very close. They're at the stadium today to do the final configurations. I'm not going to promise it's going to be up by Sunday, but it will still be this season, a Wi-Fi will be available to assist in this this process. Because if you say you're going to rely on scanning to eliminate criminal activity, you can't rely on mobile Wi-Fi. You need to have a stable Wi-Fi network. And I know I'm seeing big eyes around me. The media is always complaining about the Wi-Fi.
Any takers on the panel too? Going once, going twice. And I think we've done our party. And Officer Fika, thank you so very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tani.
Thank you. The media will be back.